Hey guys, we are going to be looking at 6.3e, which is multiplying and dividing positive rational numbers fluently. We're going to start with question number 1. A professional basketball team must play a total of 85 games before the playoffs begin. The team has played 3/5 of the scheduled games. If the team plays 10 more games, what is the total number of games they will have played? Of course, I always like to look for what is important here. So I'm looking at the 85 games. I'm also looking at the 3/5 here and the 10. The 10 is super important as well. Okay, so when I go to set my problem up, it's going to look something like this. I know that I'm going to have 3/5 of the scheduled game. So of tells me I'm going to multiply of the 85 over 1. Because it's a whole number, I put the 85 over 1. Okay, now I'm going to kind of make this a little bit more manageable. And I know that I can put 5 into 5 one time. And I know that 5 is going to go into 85 17 times. They're both divisible by 5. If you need to work that out, you certainly can. 85 divided by 5, so that's 1. Subtract your 5, we get 3. Bring down your 5, and then 5 times 7 is 35. And there's our answer for that one. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and erase that part off. And then I'm going to be looking at trying to figure out the rest of this problem. Now I need to multiply 17 times 3. Okay, so I'm going to come down here and work 17 times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So I get 51. So that's going to be the number 51 over 1. I know that's really the whole number, 51. Now, I would be tempted to say, that's it. I see my answer. It's B. I got 51. That's right. But remember, it said if the team plays 10, let me erase that, 10 more games. What is the total number of games they will have played? So I really need to look at this again. I've got to add 10 to that. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. So the answer is definitely C. So you have to be careful when you're looking at these because they are going to try to trick you into picking the wrong answer because they have things that are so close. You've got to read everything very, very carefully. Okay, so I'm going to erase all of this. But if you need to go back and you need to look at how I work the problem, you can definitely do that. Just go back and redo the video. Okay, so we're going to look at question number 2. A shipping box is shaped like a rectangular prism. The box is 1 1/5 feet wide, 3 feet long, and 4 1/2 feet tall. What is the volume of the shipping box? Okay, so what I'm looking at is 1 1/5. So I'm trying to figure out what would that be like if I were multiplying with decimals. I know that this is really length times width times height. That's what I'm looking at. So I'm trying to figure out all of these pieces. So I'm going to be multiplying 1 1/5 times 3 times 4 1/2. Okay, so one of the problems I have to fix is I've got to make all of these so that I can multiply easier. So you can change these into decimals pretty easily. I know that 1 divided by 5 is going to give me decimal 2. So this is really 1 2/10 times 3 times 4 5/10. Now, if you're wondering where I got that decimal 5, 1 divided by 2 is going to give me decimal 5. That's how I got that, okay? So let me erase this, and we're going to start multiplying some of these together. I'm going to start with the first couple, and then we'll add to that. 1 and 2/10, and I'm going to multiply that by 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and then 3 times 1 is 3. Remember, it's one number, one digit is behind the decimal, so I'm going to put it in there. Okay, now I've got 3 and 6/10, and I'm going to multiply 4 and 5/10. 5 times 6 is 30. I'm going to carry my 3 and circle it. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. I'm going to mark the 3, the 5, and I'm going to add a 0. 4 times 6 is 24, so I'm going to add the 2 and circle it. And then 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. Okay, so 0 plus 0 is 0. And then 8 plus 4 is 12. I'm going to circle that. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6, and then I drop the 1. I've got 2 digits here and here that are behind the decimal, so that would be 16 and 20/100. Okay, so I think I'm right. But when I go back and I look at my answer choices, I can see that 16 and 20/100 is not an answer choice. So I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with that. I'm going to rewrite it, and then I'm going to try to reduce my fraction, okay? So this is 16 and 20/100. I know that I can just mark through these zeros like this, and to reduce, and now I have 16 and 2/10. Well, I can reduce that a little bit more by dividing by 2 over 2. So that's going to be 16, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. 16 and 1/5. So my answer for number 2 is going to be F. Okay, you guys are doing a great job staying with me. I know that you guys are going to do fabulously on this paper because you have been paying attention. There is going to be a Google form for you to fill out later, and it's going to be very easy. I'm going to do the first 4 with you, and then the next 4 you're going to do on your own. So if you watch the video, you get 4 for free, which is pretty cool. Okay, Christian is a running back on the football team. In 2 games, he scored 3/4 of the total number of points his team scored. The team scored 49 points in the first game and 35 points in the second game. What was the number of points Christian scored in these 2 games? So this is really a 2-part problem. I'm trying to find 3/4 of 49, but I'm also finding 3/4 of 35. So I'm going to go ahead and work my first problem first. So I'm going to say I've got 3/4 of 49. So that 49 is really over 1 because it's a whole number. And when I multiply 49 times 3, 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. So I get 147 divided by 4 times 1, which is 4. Okay, so that gives me 147 over 4. Well, that's not something I can really work with very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 147 divided by 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. I bring down my 7. And then 4 times 6 is going to be 24. And 7 minus 4 is 3. So I get 36 and 3/4. That looks like something I can probably work with. So that equals 36 and 3/4. I'm going to keep that answer because most of my answer choices are probably going to fall into that somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Now I have already found it for the 49, but let's look and see what it would be for 35. So I'm going to take 3/4 of my points, and I'm going to multiply that by the 35 points over 1 again, because 35 is a whole number, and I can put that over 1. Okay, so I've got to multiply 35 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So I get 105, and again, my denominator is a 4 because I have multiplied 4 times 1. Now let's look at dividing 105 divided by 4. So that's going to look like this. 4 times 2 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2, and I'm going to bring down my 5. And then 4 times 6 is 24. I subtract and I get 1, so that is 26 1/4. Okay, now I think I really have something that I can work with. I have 2 whole numbers with 2 fractions that I'm going to be able to add together. I can add 3/4 and 1/4. If I do that, I'm going to get 4/4, which is equal to 1. Okay? So I'm really adding 36 3/4 plus 26 1/4. So if you look at it like that, I'm going to be adding these fractions together first, and I get 4/4. So I'm just going to add that to the 36, and I'm going to say, okay, that's 37 plus 26. 7 plus 6 is where I am right now. That's 13. I carry my 1 and circle it. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So I ended up with 63. 63. Do you guys see the answer there? It's right here. Okay, you did great with that one. You stuck in there with me. You held in there with me, and you got everything that you need to know for number 3. Now let's look at number 4. You erase really well so you can see what we're doing. We're going to be doing a little grocery shopping today, and we're going to be looking at how much this meat costs per pound. So one of the things that I need you to be thinking about is if you have to divide 2 pounds to make it into halves, how many halves would there be in 2 wholes? So 1 pound would have 2 halves, and 2 pounds would have 4 halves, right? So that's going to help us in just a little bit. 2 pounds of meat cost $5.76. At this rate, how much will 6.5 pounds of meat cost? So I know that every 2 pounds is going to cost me $5.76. Okay, so that's 2 pounds. Now here's another 2 pounds, $5.76. So that's 4 pounds. And another 2 pounds is going to be $5.76. Okay, so what I have left is 1/2 of a pound, but I need to know how much that's going to be. So I'm going to take this $5.76 and I'm going to divide that by 4 because there's 4 halves in 2 pounds. So I'm going to subtract there. I get 1. I'm going to bring down my 7. 4 times 4 is going to be 16. So 7 minus 6 is 1, and that's 16 again. So look, I got $1.44. So now I'm going to be able to add my $1.44 to everything that I have listed there, okay? $1 for my 1/2 pound, $1.44. Okay, so let's add all of this up. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 4. You're right, you got 22. Okay, 7 times 3 is 21. And we're going to add 2. That's 23, good. And then add 4. Good, 27. Okay, so now I'm going to be able to add a little bit easier because I can multiply 5 times 3 and get 15. Add 2, and I get 17. Add another one, and I get 18. So that is $18.72. Now your this paper has a grid, but you guys are going to have a Google form, and there'll be something that you can answer on that. Well, I hope this helped you guys, and I look forward to seeing your responses on 1 through 8. Thank you.